Sup y'all, and welcome to the last video of the Great Divergence, Unit 3, Part 8. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the final part of the Chinese stagnation by asking this essential question: what caused China to focus inward while Europe was focusing outward? By the 1500s, China was challenged along virtually all their borders, and their power began to decline. The Portuguese began showing up en masse, eager to gain land, riches, and to spread Christianity. Many of the Chinese referred to them as ocean devils. Even though the Ming focused inward, they continued to expand trade, even engaging in the Columbian Exchange. From the east came Japanese, eager to tap into China's great wealth, but increasingly defiant and unwilling to pay the tribute required for official trade. Instead, they turned to plunder and piracy on the seas, whilst Japanese samurai landed in China to pillage towns and villages. The Ming fought back by prohibiting trade with China, but this ban primarily only led to more smuggling. Then, of course, in the 1590s, came Japan's assault on Korea, led by Hideyoshi. It took a massive Ming army to help deter the Japanese assault. And of course, the Ming were repeatedly harassed by the Mongols to the north. The need to protect their borders on multiple fronts drained China's treasury and led to unrest as well as an increased sense of xenophobia for the Chinese. Now, xenophobia is a dislike or fear of people from other countries. By the 1600s, under the Tokugawa shogunate, the Japanese entered into a period of isolation and stopped trading with the Chinese. Regardless of the changing times, the Ming emperors maintained vast courts and wasted valuable tax money by supporting the entourages, living a life of excess luxury. In the early 1630s, a terrible famine ravaged the country, leading to massive deaths and massive revolts. Years later, a commoner named Li Zicheng led a rebellion. As floods, droughts, and a smallpox epidemic amplified the human disaster, support for Li Zicheng increased. In 1644, he captured Beijing, while the despondent Ming emperor hanged himself on a nearby hill, thus ending the Ming Dynasty. Now, while Li Zicheng was ransacking Beijing, the Ming leaders had called for help. They sought assistance from a loosely united group of nomadic northerners known as the Manchus, being as they were from a region known as Manchuria. The Manchus quickly overthrew Li Zicheng and his army in 1644 and established what would be the last imperial dynasty of China, the Qing, meaning the pure dynasty. The Qing, although technically foreigners, adopted many Chinese ways. Nonetheless, Manchus were given precedence when it came to government positions. Additionally, intermarriage between the Chinese and Manchus was forbidden. Also, the Chinese men were forced to wear their hair in a braid, or called a queue, keeping consistent with the Manchu custom. The Qing engaged in massive military campaigns, subduing resistance in the south while expanding their territory to the west. Now, in this map, you can see the extent of the Ming lands. Then compare that with the lands taken by the height of the Ching Dynasty. In case you missed it the first time, here it is again. Now, aside from the territorial gains, the Qing sought to create a more cohesive nation and suppress Christianity as well as the Jesuits. They also outlawed the practice of foot binding, a common practice by the wealthy in some regions of China, in which the arch of the foot of little girls was often broken to make the feet appear small and dainty. With the effects of the Little Ice Age, the continued isolation of the Japanese, and the rise and expansion of the Europeans, the Qing stagnated for more than a century. By the late 1700s, a Buddhist-led rebellion broke out, attempting to overthrow the Qing and pave the way for a return of the Buddha. It took the Qing 8 years to put down the rebellion, showcasing how far they had fallen from their days of dominance in East Asia. And now to wrap up the Great Divergence as well as the Beasts of the East, it's time for a snide remark. The Ming take control of multinational China, establishing the final true Chinese imperial dynasty and expand their power. The Chinese expeditions expand their wealth, knowledge, and dominance over the regions adjacent to the Indian Ocean. The Portuguese, the first Europeans to reach East Asia, increased trade and spread Christianity. Later, the multi-state nation of Japan unites through warfare and fails to conquer China through Korea. The coldest stages of the Little Ice Age, which had begun in the mid-1300s, hit during the mid-1600s on a global scale. Japan and China focus inward due to Confucianism as opposed to outward as the Europeans had done due to mercantilism. Japan enters into an era of isolation, ending virtually all trade or contact with the outside world. And for China, the Ming are toppled and the Qing take over. They took over China, an empire declining in its relative power. And there you have it.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me!